What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Marsh Boys podcast. I'm your host, Brian, and today I am joined by two great guests, Brent Bierman and Mike Runk down in Maryland. How you guys doing today?
Doing well, buddy. How are you?
Good man, how are you?
Uh, hanging in there. So before we get into, obviously, Mike with Black Timber Call Co. and Brent with your media deal, give me a little backstory from each of you, kind of how you got into the waterfowl deal. Was it through family, stuff like that, and then progressive? So we'll start with Brent.
So I started duck hunting probably right around when I was 13, 14 years old with my brothers. I got out of it for a while, then I got really big into deer hunting and turkey hunting. But I just started getting back into duck hunting in the last 5 or 6 years now. But I've always been around the outdoors my entire life.
I got you. Mike?
Yeah. I grew up hunting with my dad on the Eastern Shore from little, like before I could even actually use a gun. I would just go along with him. And then I got older when he started letting me actually go hunt, or have a gun when I was in middle school. And then it just grew from there. And now I would say it's funny. When I was growing up, I was probably 90% deer hunter, 10% waterfowl. And then when I turned, I don't know, like 18, it would have been like 17 or 18, I got my first ever like handshake lease with one of my dad's buddies, and that was primarily a waterfowl spot, and then it did a full role reversal for me. It was that was it from there.
Now, what was it about waterfowl that drove you away from deer hunting?
The camaraderie, like for me, I can go waterfowl hunting in the morning with my buddies, my cousins, drink a coffee, shoot the crap with them, and not even shoot anything. But it's just like the whole family deal and the friendship and the whole camaraderie is what does it for me for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way most people, especially outdoorsmen in general, transition into waterfowl. You go, your whole young life, high school and everything, sitting in a deer stand by yourself. Maybe you take your girlfriend at the time, whatever. But and then your buddy says, "Hey, you want to come duck hunting?" And
Yeah.
it's just a complete game changer. At least for most people. Even a couple of my buddies that are diehard deer hunters, I take them goose hunting one time, and they're like, "This is the shit."
Yeah.
So to transition into the calling aspect, once again, Brent, I'll start with you because I see, we've been Facebook friends for a little while, and I always see you got your calls in the truck. How did you get deeper into the calling side of things, or want to get deeper into the calling side of things?
It's always been a passion to a dream of mine to get on stage. I just never had the cojones to actually do it. Luckily, getting hooked up with Mike and stuff, he's kind of pushing me a little bit harder. But I've always followed him, watched him online. I mean, it's always been like a passion of mine. But other than that, I've never competed online, or I've competed online, but not in person yet.
I got you. Same for you, Mike.
Yeah, so I would say I really wanted to get into it when I was younger. I mean, I've been blowing a goose call since, man, I don't know, since I was 7, 8, 9 years old, and enough to drive my parents crazy. Where my dad actually cleared out one of the spare bedrooms upstairs, and he was like, "You get 45 minutes a night, and I'm going to close the door, and you're not going to drive me and your mother crazy anymore." I'm like, "Okay, deal." Um, I think for me, it was always I never really had anybody to lean on and kind of show me the ropes because anyone can run a goose call. I mean, I know some very, very good uh, guys that are great on a goose call, but just don't understand the dynamic of like building a routine or understanding what's expected of you when you get on stage, right? So, um, the truth be told, I wanted to challenge myself. Not that I'm like the greatest goose caller in the world, but I wanted to challenge myself and get better on the duck calling side of things. And I pretty much just pestered Stump on social media enough that he finally was like, it starts off with, it's the same thing for everybody. It's like, okay, everyone says they want to do it. Okay, but are you committed to it? So he was like, here's what I want you to do. He was sending me a couple messages like, practice this, do that. And I started sending him like 8 videos a day. Is this right? Is this right? And every response was no, you suck, right? But and I think once he saw after 3, 4, 5 months of that I was committed to it, he finally invited me down to his place in North Carolina. I spent the weekend with him, and it was from that point forward that I felt like I had a baseline and I knew what was expected of me, and I knew where I was lacking, where I could get better, how to build a routine. I had his help I had him. So like once you go and make that trip down to visit somebody, him or anybody, whether it was Butch back in the day or Tim Grounds or whatever, it's like, okay, this person is now giving me their time, and I don't want it to be a situation where they message me or call me a week later. They're like, "Hey, have you been practicing?" And you're like, "No, I haven't been." I just, so, so really, once I got on Stump's radar, he just drove me to be better into practice, even when I didn't feel like it, or when I had every excuse in the world why I shouldn't be or whatever. But then I would say my first contest I ever went to was actually his. He used to run the North Carolina State contest.
Okay.
And I went down there and competed in the meat duck and the team meat duck. Got my ass kicked. I don't know if I can say.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I got my ass
you're
kicked.
Good.
I mean, I got tossed after the first round of meat, and then we went to live. And I'll never forget, man. It was, I think there might have been 12, 13 teams in that team meet event. And I think I drew like fourth with Stump and fifth with Trevor Shannahan. And
good field to be in.
Huh?
I said a good field to be in.
Yeah. There were some heavy hitters there. I mean, Chandler Martin was there. Seth Fields was there. Trevor was there. Stump was there. Lee Williams was there. I don't think Lee was competing on the duck side of things, but I think he won the open at that contest. It wasn't that many people, but it was a solid group of callers. So I walked out there with Stump, and dude, like 10 seconds into the team meet routine, I just blacked out and just didn't know like what I like my whole neck choked up, like my shoulders, everything went tight. And I was like, just started doing like the dumbest stuff. And then thank God I saw the red light turn on. I was like, okay, I'm walking off. Stump's still out there making noise and whatnot. I'm like, I'm out of here. We go walking off. So of course, after experiencing that, I have to turn right back around and do it with Trevor. And I'll never forget, I like totally forgot that I was next to Trevor. So I go to walk off, and Trevor's like, "Hey, we're up." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So as I then turn around, and me and Trevor are walking back on, and Stump goes walking by Trevor, and Stump just looks at Trevor and goes, "He's going to screw you. Be ready." And so I just totally got my butt beat that whole week. I didn't make it out of the first round of anything, but I think it's something that everybody has to do and experience just to get that stage time to you're never going to shed that feeling, but
it is
prepared for it.
It is one of the hardest things I've ever put myself through, because I tell everybody I rode bulls for a long time.
Oh, cool.
But it was something that the crowd was a ways away.
Yeah.
Right. The crowd, if I fell off, the crowd loved it regardless.
Yeah.
They got action out of it. I've only competed in 3 in-person contests at the New Jersey State each year. The first year I got up on stage, I very wet behind the ears. I had gone, which my cousin's a very good goose caller in the field, right? He knows how to call birds. He knows how to read birds, but really no privy on the competition side. So I was kind of learning from him. I could sound like a goose, but it was honks, clucks, and moans. So I didn't even, at the time, I wasn't even double clucking, stuff like that. So I get on stage, and same thing. I just choked up at about 45 seconds, halfway through my routine. And it was just anything I could do to see the red light. I don't even think I tapered off into a lay down. I just think I saw the red light. I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Second year, I'm a lot more confident. And I didn't realize, and I'm still not prepared for this. I need to stock up on reads, but I didn't realize how many reads I would go through.
Mm-hmm.
So I forget what call I blew at my second contest, but I bought a couple reads and I went through them. The day before the contest, I completely fuck up a read.
Mm.
It splits, bubbles, and I'm like, man, what am I going to do now? So I grab my Molt Gear Rush that I hunt with, and it just, I mean, I'm sure you guys know, you can't just grab a call off the shelf and do what you were doing with your competition call the day before. So I screwed that up, and I mean, it was just, but to your point, getting on stage in front of people that are directly, I want to say, involved in what you're doing. Like, they are going to judge you for what you did. Not just the judges, the people in the crowd are going to judge you for what you did. And it's something you're so passionate about that it really brings out, I don't want to say the worst in people, but those blocks you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Brent, you're at the very early stages. You're kind of where Mike was talking about 5 minutes ago. What is it like for you to build the confidence to attempt to get on stage here soon?
Well, hopefully I'll be getting on stage in October, so I
Yes.
have a few months to figure out how to do it.
You
Because
can come up in September to Jersey.
yeah, I might have to do that
There you go.
because right now it's like I'm still nowhere where I want to be, and of course Mike's probably getting tired of me sending him Snapchats and videos every day. But I mean, it's the thing of like how I enjoy it is the friendship I have with Mike is I have that somebody to lean on. So like I know Mike's going to tell me go with it because he wants me to do something for myself. But at the same point, he's not going to let me down and be like, oh yeah, you sound great, and go out there and look like an idiot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll find that happy medium here shortly, hopefully.
I gotcha. So I want to go back. So this is the biggest part I'm having an issue with is putting a routine completely together. I've talked with some guys like Bo and Walls, and they've got me practicing in segments, and I'm really good at it. Whether it's my hails into my clucks, into getting down to the comeback call. Like I can do just about everything fairly decent, but when I go to put or string 90 seconds together for the first time, I baffle it every single time. Is there anything? Did you have a hump like that to get over?
Me personally,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think flow is like if I'm judging a contest, it's one of the most important things and that I'm listening for, and I think it's one of the hardest things to get down right. Um, like I'm the same as you. I practice. If I come up with a routine, I'm practicing it in sections. So it's really like on my lives, I'll break them down into 15-second sections, and then it's like you go to put the first 15, the second 15 together, the first, second, third together, first, second, fourth. It just gets incrementally harder because now um, you're not remembering 15 seconds anymore. You're remembering 60. You're trying to memorize 60. You're trying to become like a note for note caller. I think that just comes with time also. Like you blow a routine so many times, you're going to remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, does that answer your question? I
Yeah.
don't know if that,
Yeah. Pretty much. And I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is like, okay, I got my hail sequence down. I'm going to move into my first set of clocks, right? And I have that as note for note as you can get it. But then I move into your ramp up. And that's where I really screw up. It's like, okay, how fast do you ramp it up? How long do you wait? And then how fast do you go when you get there? It's just that's what's been boggling me. So
and actually figuring out when to take a breath
yes,
is tough too.
yes. Because I can string together like a couple rolling clocks into a double clock into a triple clock, but then it's and then
Yeah,
coming back to it, which you can't do in a on stage.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking to. I have a couple guys that are going to be using black timber in contests this year, and I was just talking to someone on the way here, and that was one of the things we were talking about. He sent me one. Sorry, my dog's scratching himself
Oh, you're
over
good.
here. That was he sent me a video of his routine, and I was like, we gotta work on that because there's certain spots where you can take a breath, and there's certain spots where you just gotta run it out and do the best you can, and
Yeah.
trying to figure out that spot to take a breath and not even let anyone hear it is pretty critical.
Yeah, and I think so. If you go on, if you go on the World Waterfowl Calling Championships YouTube and look at the prelims, I have a comment on there. I timestamped where it starts. I listened to that. I listened to the first 20 routines on my way home from work all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody has such a different technique about it. You have Kyle Jones who's so technical that
Yeah.
he's not running the lights out of a call, but you don't hear a breath anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
you get down to a guy like Sheelander, who he does his hails and then his I don't know what you would call it the next 15 seconds, and then he kind of stops for a split second to take his breath, and then he goes at it. Same
But that's
thing.
a style,
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. There's a lot of ways to do it. I think the hardest part is figuring out how to do it yourself.
yeah.
Yeah. I also think that there's a lot more. Uh, I don't know how to like. You can go find. I guess you call it inspiration a lot more now than you could, I'm assuming, back when you first started doing it. Like I can go to YouTube and watch Worlds from 2 years ago and see how the best of the best did it.
Yeah.
But at the time, was that around when you were getting into it?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I think YouTube and some of these other channels of gathering information are great, but I think the absolute and I was explaining this to Brent because Brent was saying like, I might call in October, I might not. I'm like, dude, you got to get back in the bullpen with the guys,
Yeah.
and you gotta get judges' feedback, and that's big. Like you can go and try to copy somebody's routine on YouTube and think you sound great or think you have it together. And then it's not until you go and actually get up on stage, you feel that pressure. You're competing against other people. You feel that pressure. It's a lot. And like I said, then you're not only are you getting judges' feedback, you're earning the respect from the guys back there in the bullpen with you, and they're willing to help you. You just gotta take that jump.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that was probably the coolest experience, not just being on stage and doing whatever, was the guys back there that have been doing it for years and years and years. And, you would come off stage and one guy would be like, hey, for your first contest, I remember personally, I come off stage and I believe John Walzak is his name.
Walzak, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He comes up and he goes, hey, was that your first contest? And I said, yeah. And he goes, not bad. Here's some things to work on. And then you have another guy that was like, dude, I'd really work on it if you want to get back on stage. And I never took that as negative. I took that as, here's what I need to work on, go do it, and come back and see if I improve.
Yeah.
And that was long before I got in, not got in, but had met a lot of people and could text videos to people and was more open about it and stuff like that. It is nice, though, when you find that one person that's like, hey, you're screwing up. Like, fix this. And there's a couple, me and Brent kind of talked about that. And there's a couple people where I'll send routines to, or half routines, and I'll be like, dude, you sound great and everything like that. And then I send the same routine to somebody else and they're like, maybe not.
Yeah.
But, so we're speaking of calls, we're doing this. Tell me how the Black Timber deal went down between you and Trevor. Wait, it went down between you and Trevor, correct?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I met Trevor at that North Carolina state calling contest. I mean, I grew up watching him, on Facebook and YouTube and all that, and obviously I knew of him when I was calling with him. And so it was this past fall at Worlds. Him and I mean, I would say we became just about best friends, from that North Carolina contest moving forward. We've always called in contests together since then. If we're at the same one, we hunt together. He comes down and spends like weekends at the beach with us and stuff.
Awesome.
It's awesome. My daughter calls him Uncle Trevor, so the whole 9 yards. But so we were at Worlds this past fall, and so I don't know if you know this, but Trevor took a job as a sporting clay manager,
down in
like sporting clay range in Texas. Well, he was in Florida. It was either Georgia then Florida or Florida then Georgia, and then now he's down in Texas.
Okay.
And he about lost interest in the Black Timber stuff. He was still making calls here and there, but he kind of just let it fall to the wayside. And I'm like, hey, I've spent some time with him in the shop, just rounding off blanks or whatever. I was like, if you're gonna let this thing fall to the wayside, why don't you let me pick it up? And so that first talk was the Friday night of Worlds, and then we talked about it some more on Sunday, and then the conversation continued, and I would say by Thursday or Friday it was all but sealed and done. And it's cool because Trevor gave me what he wanted for the company, and I was like, let's do it differently. And it actually ends up working out for both of us because he gets more than what he was asking of me, and I get the company at the way we set it up. I don't want to get into the finances.
No, you're good.
Yeah. But the way we set it up, it works out great for both people.
That's awesome. I mean, I feel like that's the best way it could have went. And so how did you go about bringing it up to him? Did you feel comfortable enough as friends to say, hey, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that could be kind of a daunting task to go up to somebody like Trevor.
No, not him. Not with our relationship. I mean,
gotcha.
There's times where I just straight up tell Trevor, hey, you're being a dick. You need to chill out. I mean, like, that's the kind of relationship we have. But yeah, no, it it was almost like a no-brainer. I knew that he would trust me with it because I have extreme like OCD with anything that I ever
Gotcha.
do. It was kind of like a no-brainer, honestly.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
because I want to tie Brent in with this, before I ask that question, Brent, how did you kind of switch over to the media side of things? What inspired you to get into filming hunts, stuff like that?
So for me, like I've had my fair share of good hunts, whether it be deer, ducks, or turkeys. For me, I kind of got to a point where I kind of enjoy more going back watching it than actually doing it. Sometimes I feel like picking up a camera before a gun. Now don't get me wrong, I still like shooting stuff here and there,
Yeah.
but it's cool to me because I know it's kind of a saturated environment, but it's the same thing you guys are saying with calling routines. Like everyone has their own style. Like I'm different than somebody else. But for me, it's a lot of fun. Like I got to film my wife's first turkey this year. And it's just stuff to always look back on. And like, especially when you have like a good group of guys that you're hunting with, it's something like if we ever hunt together, you'll see it too. Cause every hunt I go on, I take a picture, even if it's on my cell phone, and I print it out, Polaroid or however it might be. And I have a wall in my basement with every hunt I've ever been on.
That's awesome. Yeah.
That's just how I do it. For me, it's cool just to preserve that memory for anyone. Because you never know when it's your last hunt with that person too.
I got you. No, I understand that 100%. And what's funny about that is you first popped up on my TikTok feed, and for some odd reason we were friends on Facebook long before this. And I'm looking at your content. I'm like, dude, that is some serious, camera work. Like this guy knows what he's doing. And then I go to your page, and it's like you're in Maryland, and I remember I hit you up, and it's not just you. It happens to almost everybody I try to talk to through TikTok. And I'm like, hey, you ought to come film a hunt for us. We'll figure something out. And I never heard back. And I was like, man, what the heck? So like 2 weeks goes by, and I can't remember. You posted a call, and I hit you up about it. And that's how I kind of got back into it. And then we've done the lives and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I love what you do with a camera. I think you, especially for a hunt, you kind of set the mood as far as your editing goes. Pretty good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Are you all self-taught? Did you have somebody you leaned on?
Yeah, I had one guy, still a friend of mine. I bounced stuff off of him. I used to send him my edits and ask him what he thought about it. And I was helping him out, because we had our own YouTube channel for a while. And right now I'm kind of I want to be my own person because I want to have my own face out there, not just doing it for other people. If that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I did have help. It does help that my wife's a photographer as a side job too. So
yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's funny when you said, I remember you messaging me, but I don't know if you realize I turned my TikTok off like a few months ago.
No, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I got ramsacked with a viral video, and I had over 9,000 DMs. So I had to turn it off.
Holy.
It got crazy for a minute.
Yeah, I was like, this son of a bitch left me on red.
Yeah, no.
So now you're into the media. Mike's into Black Timber. How did you guys get together?
It's really just from hunting.
Yeah, it's a small world. Dude, Maryland's such a small state. I feel like everybody knows everybody, especially like on the Western Shore. There's not really like that much. I mean, there's good hunting on the Western Shore, but it's not like the Eastern Shore where there's a farm every mile, to get on.
I got you.
So,
now, I do want to talk about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say just mutual friends and stuff like that.
I got you. So when you're on the Western Shore of Maryland, does the goose hunting down there compare to the Eastern Shore?
Lately, it's gonna get better.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different.
It's just a totally style. You're hunting the X and goose poop way more than you're hunting traffic.
Okay.
Over here.
I got you. So you pretty much have to be where they want to be, or
yeah.
Okay.
It's not even that you have. It's like you just. Yeah, I mean it's more. I don't want to say more scouting. I don't know how to describe it. It's just you're more where they are, and then you burn a spot. Not I don't want to say burn a spot up. Then you shoot them. And it's not like you have fresh birds coming in every day.
Oh, okay. I got
Yeah,
you. So it's almost like resident season. You're kind of chasing around the same birds
yeah,
in periodically through the season.
yeah, yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of the same way up here in South Jersey when we get 500, 600 birds on the lake next to my uncle's house. We're kind of chasing those birds around for 2 weeks. We get a big cold push, they refresh, and we're doing the same thing again. We're chasing those birds around.
Yeah, yeah,
But so you now have Black Timber Call
yep,
Company.
yep.
Is there a lot of pressure to put out like at first was there a lot of pressure to kind of put out the same kind of quality calls that Trevor did, or was there
Dude,
any pressure coming out from that name?
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
and I tell everybody, I'm not Trevor, right? I mean, I have gone to the nth degree to make sure that I can put out as solid of a product as I can. I'd like to believe. I mean, I'm only getting better every day, but I mean, the guy I paid. I took all. So I was a huge collector of black timber through the years, and I took all of my favorite calls that I have from Trevor, and I sent them to a CNC guy, and I actually had him um, map out the external and internal dimensions of the bores of every call, both insert and barrel and insert. Um, so everything that I'm doing in the shop is essentially down to like the thousandths of an inch of what Trevor made.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't. Let me put it this way: I wouldn't be putting calls out there if I thought they were trash or
Yeah.
not up to
Fair
par.
enough. Yeah.
But in terms of the ability to how do I word this? Uh, well, the ability to make the sounds on a call that Trevor can do, I'm not
Yeah.
there. But like I
Yeah.
said, all that I'm doing is, I mean, I'm spending almost every day I can, every evening in the shop to get there, to get to that point. So, and I
Right.
have him. It's not like Trevor just walked away from the
Yeah.
business like, hey, good luck. I mean, there for, I would say from December through February, I was calling him 4 times a day. I'm sure he was getting sick of it, but yeah.
Hey, so, oh shoot, I lost my question. But so with Black Timber, I noticed obviously 2019, 2020, Trevor wins his world, and
Yeah.
Black Timber's popping again, right?
Yep.
I kind of taken a notice to it, and I was like, well, I'm running my foils call right now. I don't really want to spend the money on another call. And then a couple years later, I'd say last year, I started seeing the groups on Facebook, like a lot more people saying, hey, I want a Black Timber call.
Right.
And then I see the website pop up. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't see anything on there. And, me and Brent got to talking about it, and he explained to me what happened and everything. I was like, man, like that's really, really cool. And then, or not, and then, so you have the overload, right? The overload and the amped, correct?
We have 7 or 8 different calls. Right now, I have 4 in production, and it's 8 total.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
run me through the calls that you have, if you don't mind, and kind
Yeah.
of tell me the differences in each one.
So we have the overload. That's the call that Trevor won all of his titles with. Um, I would say I put it on the website. That's like the cornerstone of the Black Timber lineup. I mean, the call speaks for itself. What Trevor's accomplished with it. We have plenty of other callers that have accomplished great things with that call. It's a big power, deep goose, awesome call, and it can do everything from top to bottom. Um, my personal favorite hunting call is the amped. It's actually, well, we'll get into it, but for the past 7 years has been the amped.
Okay.
It's a shorter barrel, shorter insert, super responsive, tighter bore, easier to run. So like to give you an example, I run a 410, an RM 410 on the
Yeah.
duck side on stage. I hunt with a CWF. For me, a CWF when you're hunting, when your lips are cold, cracked, your fingers are cold and everything, a CWF is going to be more forgiving for me
Okay.
compared to like a 410. Um, and the amped is just like it's a little higher pitch, which I like for hunting, especially like if you're trying to break geese down from the heavens. Um, like I said, it's a higher pitch. It's not high, but it's higher than the overload. Um, Snappier, more responsive. Just a great hunting call. So then this year we're adding the Power Surge, which is more just an open style overload. Just bigger bores. It's close to the overload, just bigger, louder,
Okay.
more power. And then the last call that Trevor came out with is the live wire, which he never. I'm trying to figure out when he would have came out with that. It would have been like 2020 ish, 2021. And it's funny. Trevor made me one, and I was like, eh. I mean, I was just so in love with my overloads, my amp.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a good call, but it's definitely not my favorite. Now that I'm making them and I'm tuning them all the time, and I'm starting to spend more time behind one, I'm actually starting to lean more towards that than my amp even. It's just a very, very easy to run, goosey, another small bore design, exhaust. And now that I've spent more time running one, I have a feeling that call is probably going to be one of the more popular calls in our lineup, just because it's a very user friendly, easy to run hunt call.
The
You
average
gotta
caller
have.
can grab it.
I'm sorry.
The average caller can grab it and go
Oh
kill
yeah,
geese with it.
yeah. You compare that to like the overload, and the overload. If you don't know what you're doing on it, it's gonna do things you don't want it to do, right?
Yeah.
The live wire is anybody can pick it up and use it.
I got you.
So the next one is the Shockwave, which is the flute. I have that. It's in the process of being. I took one of Trevor's old Shockwaves. I sent it to my CNC guy. He's mapping it and getting it ready, getting a CAD rendering made for it to put in the CNC machine. We'll be releasing that this fall. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So right now I have the amp and the overload on the website.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm
That's
hoping
why that's why I asked. I only saw those two.
Yeah, yep. And then hopefully by August, September, I'm getting another batch of overloads, amped, Power Surge, live wire. And then I'm also going to put out the Shockwave this year. I'm not going to do very many of them just because, not everyone likes a flute. I think people like the concept of running a flute, but not. And then people go to run one and they're like, oh, I can go run a short reed and do way more things. But the cool thing about Trevor's flute design is you can run it like a short reed, and
He can rip on that damn thing. I have never heard anybody roll clucks and do just the things he does on a flute. Because he posted a video. It wasn't too long ago, right? That he posted a video of him running on a flute call. Yeah. I was like, man, like I said, I mean, you have your stereotypical flute routine, which is just super goosey, really bassy, and then he posts that video, and it's like, okay, all right, he's doing something a little different on there.
Yeah. He Trevor's great on a flute. I mean, you have guys like Trevor, you have like Josh Newweiler, which is one of the greatest guys to ever use a flute. Trying to think of who else. I mean, you said Bo Matherly.
Yep.
Dude, Bo's awesome on the flute. But
yeah, he posted a TikTok where it was like 4 different videos, and he did a live goose kind of thing, and it sounded incredible.
Yeah. But like I said, so the flute's kind of been tough for me because the gut that Trevor used, and Trevor has 2 sets of guts that he used in flutes. The one that's in the flute that everybody's ever gotten, the gentleman that designed that gut passed away, and no one knew where to get the gut from anymore.
Okay.
And I actually found someone that has them. So it took me a minute to like resource, because like if I'm going to make something, I don't, everybody has something in their mind of like, okay, I liked Trevor's flute. Well, I'm not going to go and make a flute again, but then use a different gut and then it not be anything like what everybody wants. The other gut design that Trevor has is going to be a lot closer to like a Shorman style running flute. Okay. And that's actually a gut system that he designed. So I think one day I'm going to offer both. For now, I want to offer exactly what everybody used and wants. And like I said, those guts are really cool because you can run it really close to a short reed and get like what Trevor put in that video the other day.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I've never. Can you kind of run me through that? I've never taken apart a flute and looked at the gut system through it. What are the key differences between the guts in a flute, a standard flute, and your typical short reed goose call?
They're longer.
Okay.
The well, I don't know what anybody else's gut size is, but my guts are smaller than the flute gut. The flute gut that I'm using is a 525 bore, or I'm sorry, yeah, 5/8 bore flute gut, or 625. Wait, yeah, 625. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting my numbers mixed up.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, they're not broken in, and the reed's a little longer. So it's
Okay.
not a huge difference, but I mean it's definitely enough of a difference that you can hear it. But yeah.
So, Brent, you blow it amped, right?
An amped and overload.
Okay. Which one do you think you're going to take on stage?
Mike's going to push me to push the overload, but it's like Mike said, if you're doing something wrong on it, it's going to tell you. And that's where I'm struggling right now.
But I think that's one of the biggest thing that helps you. So I got a Quill Creek very early on, and I noticed that really big with it. If you weren't doing what you were supposed to, it wasn't going to sound good.
Yeah.
And then as you learned and you progressed with that call, you learned what to do. I mean, just the confidence boost. I remember we did a podcast with Walls, and he said, "Hey, send me a video." So I sent him a video, and in the video, I hit my hail note for the first time ever. That one ever. And I just remember sending that to him. I was like, dude, that's the first time I've ever done that. And I'm like a kid in a candy shop right now. I probably spent another hour out in my barn just hail calling. That's all I did. But so which call now, if you're going hunting, which one do you prefer?
I guess I'm hear him.
Sorry, Brent.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm going hunting, I'd probably blow the amp personally, because it's a little bit faster, a little bit easier to run. And if you're, distracted trying to do something, like for me, I'm probably running a camera,
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier to just pick up, don't have to worry so much back pressure on my hands, and just be able to just run a call.
Okay, fair enough. Now, back to the gut system. I believe you offer two separate guts in your short reads too, right? A competition set of guts and a standard set of guts?
As it sits now, yeah. Trevor and I are working on breaking in more guts now. But
Okay.
yeah, so we have our fuse hunting gut, and then the comp guts are just Mike Stelzner's MBGs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's the biggest difference between those two? It's just,
Just
you have
the
a worn in set of guts and
they're both broken in.
okay.
The MBGs, we run a 12 mil reed or a 14 shave down to a 12. Depends on who I'm tuning the call up for. Really, is like some guys want it a little bit higher. What I tell people is, if you start with a 12, you can only be at 12. If you start with a 14, you can be 12, 0, 12, 2, or 12, 4. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit more workability there. But yeah, the MBGs run mostly somewhere around a 12. The fuse hunting guts have a 14 in them that I put a little T shape in, just to give you that little more bottom end raspiness, like goosiness on it.
Yeah.
But like I said, it just goes back to forgiveness, right? So like nobody goes hunting and runs an open routine when they're calling it goose, right? So you don't need that. The fuse guts still have plenty of use in them. You're just not going to get that high power and low range, like exaggerated, like the MBGs have.
Okay, I got you.
Yep.
Now, the other thing I wanted to cover while I have you on is you were on the hail call. I wouldn't say recently, but soon enough. And you had brought up this point system. Was there any kind of leadway with that? Because I thought that was an amazing idea.
Yeah, I think it can take off. I think it's going to take a large group effort, and I just didn't quite get the feedback from that like I was hoping. I just got into it with not into it, but got into a healthy debate with somebody on another Facebook group. It was the contest caller page on Facebook, and I'm like, it's like I told you earlier, 20 minutes ago, I didn't take that jump to go on stage until I had someone like Stump pushing me to make me better, right? And it all just comes back to that, in my opinion, like, you know, I never had the pleasure of meeting Butch Reichenbach or Tim Grounds, but like, I'm sure it was the same concept. Like, Butch hands you an MVP and he expects you to practice and get better, and he's going to be messaging you or getting back and forth with you and telling you, hey, this is where you need to get better, this is where you need to work on things. And the same thing with Tim, right? So I just think there's a value in that, in having someone that A, knows what they're talking about, guiding you through the process, and B, driving you to be better. I would love to bring that out. It's just finding the guys that are willing to promote it and be like I don't know if you actually remember the entire podcast, like front to back, but I was talking
Pretty
about
close to it.
Like a team captain.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's finding those guys that are willing to dedicate their time to be that role for somebody. Is just the block at this point. But no, I would love to readdress that one day in the future and hopefully get that up and going.
Yeah, I really liked how you structured everything, even down to the entry fee. You know, I think $200 sets a precedent. The guys that are willing to go compete on stage, that are willing to get better, that want to do this, they're going to pay that with no problem. And it might be guys like me who have very limited stage time or still building a good routine that want to learn from 6 of the best callers in the country, you know?
Yeah.
And then you have guys, and I don't want to say anything about it, but you have guys that are placing, let's just say, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th in worlds, and they join a team. And then you have guys that have won world championships, and even they can learn. They can step up. So and you wanted to do the draft, which sets a really good range. Because, I mean, just like the NFL draft, you have your 1st, 2nd, 3rd round talent that might go out and start. And then you have your guys in the back part that are going to help with the team, and eventually get to where the front guys are. Like I said, I love the concept front to back with it. And I really hope it's something that you push through, get the help behind it and everything, because it's something I will absolutely do.
I think it'd be cool. And like I said, when going back to the draft thing, like as I explained in that podcast, like there's a strategy there. There are some, the great. I'll use like Bobby Heim for example. I think Bobby is a great caller, but
his routine this year at Worlds, his final routine was insanity.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he's great on both sides, duck and goose, right? But like, okay, so let's just say Bobby enters it, and you're like, oh man, Bobby's a great caller. I want him. Well, Bobby only goes to Worlds. That's it. You have guys that go to Dive Bomb. You have guys that go to Florida. You have guys that. So like, you got to think about it from, because I don't know if you recall this, but I said you get a point just for entering a contest.
Yes. Yep. And you said you would vary the points based on the size and stuff like that.
Yeah, we were going to have like a Power 5 where it was going to be like geographic, where we have one Power 5 contest in the West, the North, the South, the East, and one in the Central Maryland or Central United States, just to give everybody an opportunity to not have to buy, an $800 round trip to go to one, right? But yeah, like I said, it would be something where you got to really think like, okay, this person might not be, a Bobby Heim level caller, but he goes to 7 contests a year.
Yes.
So like I said, I would like to bring that topic back up one day. Just for now, it didn't seem to pick up that much traction.
Yeah. I mean, and I think if it is implemented, it will grow the calling base, because you have guys like me. I go to, I plan on going to, I think 3 contests this year, but if I were doing, said series, I'd probably take the time to go to Western PA to do the 2 calling contests out there. I'd go to North Carolina. I would make the time, because not only is it learning experience, there's a pretty penny at the end of this deal. Yeah. If it's in fruition, there's a pretty penny for the winning team.
Yep.
So I think it would add great incentive. You would get a better turnout at contests. You would have a more proficient turnout at contests, because you're constantly learning. Whoever's captaining is going to want to help the team and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope, like I said, one day, hopefully next year, we see it come up. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, you guys. Oh, you know what? You're having speaking of contests, you guys are going to be at the Maryland State contest, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the first time this has been held in quite some time, right?
I think 2019. I think Trevor was the last one to organize it, unless I'm mistaken. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So
But,
we're bringing that back this year. Justin Blevins is doing a phenomenal job of pulling it all together. Um, we're going to have the Maryland State Goose, which is going to be an open format, Maryland State Duck, which is going to be a live format, and then we're going to have 3 more contests: an open goose, a live goose, and a live duck. And we have the 2 juniors.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
excited. I'm having twins in November. I mean, probably the weekend of Worlds. So
Uh-huh.
there,
Yeah.
I went my plans for that. So it's
Yeah.
cool to see this one pop up. But yeah, I'm gonna do my very best to get there, depending on how much my wife doesn't like me by the time we get to 9 months pregnant.
That's funny. Yeah. No, I mean, it should be a good one. Like I said, Justin's putting in a lot of time and effort into making this right, and he's surrounding himself with the right people that are giving him the right ideas, and he's going
It
about it
seems
the
that
right way
way.
too. He's not just saying, "Hey, this is what we're doing. This is how it's going to be." He's taking as much feedback as he can possibly get, um, and the way that he's going about collecting money, I think is smart too. Like, I don't know if you saw that fundraiser that me and Stump ran.
Yeah, I screwed up and they can get in it because those calls were pretty slick.
Yeah. Um, that was actually an idea that Teddy Hoover brought about. And I was like, well, I'll be the test code for us. I called Stump and I was like, hey, Justin asked me if I would talk to Stump and see if he'd be willing to, put some money towards the contest. So I was like, yeah. I gave him a call and he was like, yeah, I'll give you like $1,000. I'm like, well, I don't really want money from you. He's like, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, I want you to make a custom. I'll make a custom and we'll do a joint waffle together.
Yeah.
And he was like, hell yeah, I'm in. So yeah, I think I posted, man, I had no idea. I stump guessed around like, I don't know, I think like $1,800. I think I said like 2,400, $2,500, which I thought would be phenomenal. Right.
Yeah.
And then, dude, I posted that thing and I think it was the first night we were up to like $1,200 already. And that was like in 2 or 3 hours. I was like, oh boy, this thing's going to go off.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
do you remember how many? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Do you remember how many tickets you actually sold?
Sold 360.
Ooh.
After some people paid, friends and family on PayPal or whatever. Some people paid, and I'm not like knocking anybody. I was very thankful for whatever money people gave us, but I think out of 360 entries, it raised $3,519 and like 40 cents for the contest.
That's awesome. I mean, that's got to go towards some heavy bills because everything I've heard from the hail call is when people go to put on a contest, they don't realize how much money the promoters are putting out of their own pockets to do this.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a huge help. Not only that, but in the incentive of a prize package to come compete.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's cool. And like I said, I hope that people saw that, I hope that people saw that and it gets their gears turning like, hey, this is a new avenue for us to raise revenue,
Yep.
host a contest. Right. And like I said, I was absolutely blown away at how much money we raised. I wouldn't expect to do that again, like ever again. I don't know. I'm trying to, I think that was incredible, but you don't have to raise $3,500 on a single waffle. You can raise, put up a call in a bag and a gun bag or, something here and there and get $300-400 here,
Yeah,
$300-400
absolutely.
there. And I think people would be surprised how much money they're able to raise. And you're not going to, for us, it would be like going to Molly's or going to Chesapeake Outdoor Sports and being like, hey, can you give us $1,000? It's not like that. They can give us, product for what it costs them.
Yep.
And they get the donation for the full amount, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably, and you're going to get something. So not to downplay a gun bag or a blind bag or something,
Right?
But you're having a piece. I mean, as far as a stump call and a custom from you guys would go, I would say a piece of history, right? Yeah. You're getting something you're going to be proud to show off. You're going to be proud to use in the field. Not saying you won't get that same satisfaction for some people from a blind bag or a pair of waders, but I do think it's a little different. You're getting something that nobody else is going to get with a custom call or custom engraved something. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's funny. I get messages from people all the time. They're like, hey, do you turn custom acrylic calls? I'm like, I will, but why do you want a custom acrylic when you can just go on the website and buy it for $160. My customs are $275. And for me, it's like if I'm going to spend 4 to 5.5 hours standing in front of a lathe, I want it to be like that piece of wood will never be. That piece of wood will never be copied ever.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, that was cool.
So did you guys take the same blank, split it, and you send one to Stump and you kept one? Because they look pretty similar.
No, we tried really, really hard to find matching blank. Stump, I don't have the inventory of. If anyone ever goes to his shop, they'll know what I'm talking about. But he has a pretty incredible stock of blanks down there. So it was more like I gave him, like 3 or 4 different blanks. Sent him pictures, and then he went onto his shelves and just tried to find whatever he could that matched one of mine the best.
Gotcha.
And that's what we rolled with.
Have you done the drawing yet?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the guy in Arizona won them.
Brent didn't win?
No, he didn't. No.
Tried.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't want Brent to win. It'll seem pretty rigged if you ask me.
Yeah.
But
it was the first thought in my mind sitting here when he pulled the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there with me because I couldn't figure out. I'm logged into the Black Timber Facebook page on my phone, but I couldn't get logged into it in time on the computer because I don't know the passwords. I had to go through like the whole resetting the password deal. And Brent was sitting there. I was like, "Hey, can you do me a favor and just pull the Black Timber page up on your phone? That way, after I did the randomized drawing, I could turn around and be like, well, it was this number," and he gave me the guy's name, so it worked out good. Yeah,
I got you. But no, is there anything else you guys kind of want to go over?
Do you have a dog?
I do. I have a 4-year-old chocolate lab. He's got a pretty good backstory. He's been hit by 2 cars, and he still hunts, and he still loves it. He's not the best, but he does what I need him to do, and that's about it.
That's awesome. I meant to say earlier, and I was thinking about while you were asking, while Brent was responding to one of your questions, but I think that is my favorite. Like what Brent, like the camera for Brent, for me, it's watching a dog work when we're hunting now anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't even have to shoot anymore. I can just, for me to watch my dog do his thing is more enjoyable than any burner hunt that I've ever been on.
Yeah, I think the first year I started taking him out. So he got hit at 7 months old. That knocked him out for his first season. He was a January puppy, so got hit in July. Knocked him out for his first part of his season. He was cage rested for 9 weeks, I think.
Wow. Yeah.
So we finally get our second split of goose. And the vet, right off the rip, he has a titanium plate from the first car. Right off the rip, vet told me, hunt him. Do what you got to do. It'll be great for him. That cold won't bother him at all. It won't bother that plate, nothing. Which I was really nervous about. So I started hunting him, and I'm like, man, okay, we got something here, right?
Yeah.
So he still to this day hasn't retrieved a duck. He's strictly, I take him on field hunts.
Mm-hmm.
And the second season, or what I was going to say was that last month of the season. So I hunted him that January and then our 2-week February season. And all I did was hold him and blow a call, or pay attention to him and blow a call. Mm-hmm. And I had more fun than I've ever had in a season just doing that.
Yeah, it's funny. I joined a new club on the Eastern Shore last year with a buddy of mine, and it was my first hunt ever with them. We went to hunt in impoundment, and we had already my cousins own a farm in Western Howard County, and he had probably retrieved 250 dove by this point, because like when we all go hunt, there'll be like 7 or 8 of us, and I won't even shoot. I'll just take Walter and I'll just have him go pick up their birds for him, right? And we go duck hunting on this impoundment, and I didn't even think about it. I was like, he's ready, like we're good. And we shoot into a group of mallards, and I think I shot 1 or 2. We shot like 5 total, and one of the guys that like kind of runs the club looks down and he's like, "Hey man, do me a favor, don't send your dog until I give you the green light." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no problem." So I hunt him out of a remote dog blind, right?
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, no, he's right here. He's like, no, he's out there. I look over the blind. He's coming back with one of the mallards in his mouth. I'm like, oh my God. So needless to say, for like 3 weeks, I did nothing but work denials with him because like I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about, right? It's like not every instilling into them like not every bird is yours, right? So,
Yes.
and all that I had done was for most of September was send him on every dove that fell out of the sky. And I think he just thought, oh, I'm gonna go get it. You know what I mean? But
No, I know
yeah,
exactly what you mean, and I'm afraid that Goose. And once again, I tell everybody I picked the worst name for a dog that primarily gets Canada geese. I
do
named
you
my
release
dog.
him by his name?
I do. Um,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
will say so, and I learned this. He, like I said, he's very immature as far as training goes. He goes, gets, stays, holds, and he listens to hand directions.
Mhm.
So I went out and I bought him the Dakota blind, the locking blind,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I said I can work with him in the summer. And if we go hunting, and he's a very wired dog. Like you get him out in the field, and he's just so amped and so ready to go that a lot of times he'll blow past the signal.
Mhm.
Well, the e-collar fixed that his first season, but still, I would rather have that safety barrier. So I run the Dakota blind, and even when I do that, I open the blind and I make sure I release him. He doesn't just blow through the blind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was tricky to get through. I didn't even think about it, and
Yeah.
I remember the first bird he retrieved fully. It was a banded bird,
Oh,
really
that's
cool
awesome.
story behind that. It was my buddy's girlfriend's first ever goose. It was his first ever retrieve, really cool. But I have him like an idiot. I have him tied on a leash to an A-frame, a cheap A-frame, and we had a one bird season, so I brought my gun. Well, I'm calling, and I'm like, oh, there's a single goose right there. And I thought the A-frame was going to get completely destroyed because
Oh,
he
that's
heard that and he didn't know why he was excited. Like I said, I never sent him on a live bird, and he was just, yep, we're going.
yeah.
So I finally set the gun down and I'm just holding him. But yeah, the other coolest part about him was his longest retrieve to date was 100 and I guess at around 140 yards on a cripple.
Yeah. Yeah.
I sent him, and he is a puss, man. That bird turned around, hit him in the head, and he came running back to dad. He said, "Oh,
Hmm.
I don't want no parts of that."
Yeah.
So about 20 minutes later, I kept him marked. About 20 minutes later, I sent him again, and that's one of the coolest hunting experiences I've ever had in my entire life. And the coolest part about it was behind a tree line. So I went. It was just me and him. I didn't
Hmm.
have a bunch of buddies watching and judging
Yeah.
behind me. It was just
Yeah.
me and him.
Yep.
We reset. I sent him back again, and he brought the cripple back. And I was like, all right, yeah. And I know goose calling and running the dog go right hand in hand with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, that's my favorite part, and we get better every day. He's not perfect, but I can genuinely say that we train 6.9 days a week. You know what I mean?
That's
It's like
awesome.
we're gonna take a day off. So
Now, what is Walter?
he's a black lab.
Okay.
I got him from Southern Oak Kennels down in Mississippi,
Yep.
and I bought the. You ever heard of Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy?
I don't.
Walter, my God.
Oh, is that the one you can buy a book and a DVD through them?
No, it's just a.
Okay.
It's actually like they have an app now, and
Oh,
it's like a full library of like, you know, it used to be like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. I think they've adjusted it since then. So now it's like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase
gotcha.
4.
Yeah.
But I was going off the Cornerstone, and we nailed the obedience. I mean, it was easy, right, blowing through it. And then I started with the like the retrieval training side of things, and I was just getting my butt kicked. And I was like, man, I want him to be as good of a dog as he can be, and not let me get in the way of that, right? So
Fair enough.
I
Yep.
reached out to Barton, the owner of Southern Oak, and I was like, "Hey, here's where I'm at. I'm just getting frustrated." And he was like, "Do yourself. Why don't you take him up to Great Lakes?" So Barton has multiple. He calls them like outposts. Um, he's like, "We have availability for like a training uh, for you to drop him off for training at the Great Lakes Outpost, and to see what's going on. And so I took him up there. I dropped him off. He was there for 6 months, and I went back up there to meet with them, and they were like, "Yeah, I think you would have been beating your head against a wall." So the whole thing on Cornerstone is no pressure, no e-collar training,
Gotcha.
right? He is on the hotter side of like a British Labrador. I think he needed that e-collar to kind of tone him down a little bit.
Yeah.
So me just strictly going on, and I'm not a professional dog trainer, right? So like they know how to get around things. They see things that I would never notice, pick up on. So they put an e-collar on him, and now he's awesome. And now I can probably hunt him without an e-collar, but yeah.
Yeah, I ran the e-collar, like I said, his first season, and now I only bring it out if he's acting up. I don't have to touch it. I can leave the remote in the bag. As soon as he feels it, he knows. All right,
Yeah.
I got to straighten up.
Yeah.
And I never hit him with it. I only vibrated him. I never actually hit him with the E. And, he learned real quick that this is not something that I don't like the feeling on my neck like that.
Yeah. With him, if we're running marks in a training session and he's at heel, and I have the, oh gosh, what are they called? The launchers that I use, they're like a funny name.
No, the remote ones.
The remote ones, they're like.
Oh, okay. I got the one that shoots the blanks.
So I have that, but I also have the ones that operate off of like a remote and like a signal. It'll come back to me. But if I go to press the button for one of them to throw a bird or a dummy or whatever we're using that day, and he's sitting next to me and he creeps like 1 foot forward. If he sees me out of the corner of his eye, just go to reach for my pocket, he backs up. Yeah. He's like, he doesn't even need to see the remote anymore. He knows I'm going to reach for it. He's like, oh, no, sorry. That's right. I can't do that.
Yeah. No, it is funny. It was really cool watching him grow, right? So it went from, he's always had a really soft mouth. I didn't have to do a whole lot of training with that department, but he's a very little lab, I call it. He's 64 pounds, I think he weighed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Last time we went to the vet, and the biggest problem with him is, I'm sure you guys get the same kind of birds in September. We're shooting really big residential geese Yeah. So the first time I sent him after a bird and he brought it back, you couldn't see his face. Like, you could see the top of his forehead, and that was it. He's tripping over the wings, and that's been the biggest battle is like, so you shoot 5-6 geese, you send the dog out, and what would normally take him a minute or two to go get birds, it's taking him a little longer. So not only did he have to learn a little more there in that area where to grab them, he's got to grab a bird a little different than most dogs.
Yeah.
And it taught me a lot of patience because I can't correct him for stepping on a wing.
No.
Right. Yeah. I can't correct him. Yeah. I don't want to correct him for him taking 2 seconds to drop the bird and get a better grip on it. That's just something that I had to learn. And once I got through that phase of like, oh, the dog's not listening to me, damn it, that kind of rah-rah phase, it made the experience a lot better. I got to enjoy watching him bring a bird back.
I think that's something that a lot of people, the phase you're talking about, that a lot of people need to get through is not worrying about your dog impressing your buddies.
Yes.
I think
I agree 100%.
Huge.
Yes.
They're gonna. Like I talked about that incident last year, very first time at the brand new club with the guy that runs the club sitting in the blind with me, Walter breaking and going pick up a duck and bringing it back. I'm like, oh, he never does that. Famous last words, right? But like, yeah, it was embarrassing, but him and I went and worked on it. And he was rock solid the rest of the hunting season. Like he understood at that point, we're not doing that anymore, And, but yeah, blunders are going to happen. Stuff's going to dude. Same club. We were hunting a dry field for Canada's and had a sailor. This bird sailed out, I would say, every bit of 250, 275. And he didn't see it fall. We were facing one way, and the bird kind of like was flying over top of the A-frame and went out back behind us. I sent him back on a blind. And that's actually probably, I would say his marking is like a 8.2 out of 10. His blind retrieves like a 9.8 out of 10, like with the hand signal, back, left, back, right, everything.
That's awesome.
Hunted up, all that stuff. I'd never had issues with his blind retrieves. I sent him back, and he was a little. I would say he was, if the bird was at noon, he was going to 1 o'clock. So I just wanted to correct him real quick with like a straight back left, and well, I go to whistle. He whips around, sits, stares at me, and I go to do this, and he's just sitting there staring at me, and I'm like, I mean, he was 60, 70 yards out. I'm like, what is going on here? Made sure he was looking at me, did it again, and he just takes off to like a straight left. I'm like, straight left cast. I'm like, what is going? Whistle stops him again, sent him back, and then he kind of got it right. Well, I didn't even think about it. It was probably 7:45, 8:15 in the morning. The sun was directly to my back, and I was casting with the sun, and he was looking straight into the sun while I was doing that, and I was like, that's something people don't think about. He made me, I was getting frustrated with him. I'm sure he was probably getting frustrated with me because he can't see what I'm doing, and I'm whistle stopping him every 2 feet to make him make the right cast. But yeah.
Now the dog's been a huge. I got in a lull right when we started Marsh Boys. I kind of got in a lull of it was just something we were doing. We were going and hunting every weekend. We were having fun, but it was not to say it was getting a bore, but like you just get into the motion sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm sure both of you have had a moment like that. And then the dog rejuvenated that.
Oh, man. Yeah.
The calling rejuvenated that. Once I really started hitting my marks calling, and I'm the only one that calls in our group, and I don't want to cut my buddies down, but I'm the only one that proficiently calls in my group, as far as a goose call. And once I started hitting some new notes and stuff like that, that was really goosey, and watching the birds react a little different, that was also a huge step in making me fall back in love with this.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can have a bad day of hunting and shoot one bird, but then that one bird retrieve could be like through water, through ice, over a berm, back down into water, some sort of crazy retrieve. And that's what everybody's talking. No one cares about that you just shot only one, stood out there first for 4 hours to shoot one bird. Everyone's like, man, did you see that retrieve though? It was, it can make a hunt awesome.
Yeah. For sure. Brent, do you have a dog?
I have a dog, but I don't hunt him.
You don't hunt him?
No.
How come?
He doesn't. So when he was a puppy, I was training him up in a ball field, and I had a gentleman let his dog loose in there, and now he has no webbing in the back of his feet right now.
Oh shit!
So yeah, he swims in circles. So we never passed that. Yeah, he's just a family dog.
Good. I'm assuming a good family dog though.
Yeah.
So the last question I'm going to ask each of you, I'm going to start with Brent. Now I'm sorry, Brent. Do you have a name for your media deal?
Yeah, it's just Bierman Media.
Okay. Do you have a vision moving forward with Bierman Media?
I mean, I wouldn't say I have a vision in mind. I mean, of course, everyone wants to do what they love doing for a living, but I mean, no one can be Ed Wall. I mean, there's only one of those guys out there, and he's already got that spot. But, I mean, if it ever happened that way, that'd be awesome. But this year I'm really going to focus on – I'm probably doing a lot of stuff for, Mike with Black Timber, which I've already been doing a good bit of stuff with him. But you're probably putting a whole lot of videos out of Walter because, I mean, I don't know if Mike's already said it, but when I first interact with Mike when the Black Timber thing took over, he's trying to make more than just a call company. He wants it to be – I forgot how you worded it.
Just like an all-encompassing brand, not just I'll let Brent finish, then I'll kind of.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to, like I want to just make his. It's almost like it's kind of cool for me because he's helping me because he has a following as well. So like it's getting my media out, but at the same point, I'm able to help him out by taking good video, good pictures. But yeah, we'll see where it goes.
I got you. No, I like that. Good answer.
Yeah. Now, just to tack on to what Brent said, my vision for Black Timber is to be like an all-encompassing brand, not just another goose call, right? So like this year at the Easton Waterfowl Festival, I can't remember when they released the availability to like get a booth or something for the Waterfowl Festival. It was like $500 to be in the sportsman's tent and get like a 10x10 area, which is fine for if that, like, there's a lot of call makers in there and you're going to get a lot of traction. You're going to get a lot of visibility in that tent. I can't even fathom how many people walk through that tent that weekend. Right. For me, it was like $2,000 to have like one of the. Have you been to the Waterfowl Festival before?
Unfortunately, I had. When I
Okay.
was little, I was there, but not in recent memory.
Yeah, so I wanted to get an outdoor area. So my outdoor area is 20 by 20, but like I don't want to just have. I mean, I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook today, just giving people like an update of like what's going to be going on this fall, this winter, moving forward, and everything. Um, it's not just going to be like a tent and like goose calls. Like I'm going to have Walter's going to be there. I'm going to have a Gunner Kennels display there. I'm going to have a solo stove running, so people want to stop by, warm their hands up. We're going to have turtle boxes, both front and or both sides of the booth, playing music. I want people to like come and hang out. Like
Yeah.
I want Black Timber to be not just about goose calls. I want it to be you wake up, you go hunting. Hopefully you get them. You go back to the truck. You're shucking oysters with your buddies. Having a beer on the evening hunt or whatever at the end of the day. Like, and really just like relishing the moment and the whole experience.
As you say, the entire experience of it all.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to your point, one of the best parts to me about hunting when I'm on private land
Yeah.
is having that 11 o'clock beer with your buddies.
Yeah.
Or throwing the sausages on the grill while you're picking up decoys. Like just like you said, the experience of it all. And I think that's a huge thing we're missing at these shows. I think there's one guy that really does a good job at it, that I've seen in person. I think Foils does a really, really good job at creating almost that experience that you're trying to create. Right? I'm sure it was different back in the early 2000s when this was a lot bigger of a deal, but you just don't see that anymore. Like when I go to Harrisburg, even the dive bomb booth, not to talk shit on them, but the last time I was there and they were there was nobody at the booth.
Yeah.
During at 1 o'clock, but there's no place, like you don't go there to talk to somebody, you go there to buy something and ask about a product.
Yeah.
But with what you're saying, it's very inviting. You're coming to hang out. But
Yeah.
I'll let you finish.
Yeah. No, I mean, as it stands now, I'll be there. Stump from RM is going to be there. He just came out with his own line of coffee. I don't know if you saw that or not. We're gonna have his coffee there, like in a pod. If someone wants to stop by and grab a cup of coffee, hang out. You know what I mean? That'll be there for people. Brian will be there. Trevor, pretty sure Trevor's going to be there. He's still trying to work out his scheduling deal for that right now. It's not just a hop, skip, and a jump from Millington for him anymore. Yeah. It's a whole thing. And then I actually have 3 more guys that are like, I don't like the term field staff, pro staff, or whatever. They're just like guys that I've brought into this company that are going to help me. They are a certain type of person that embodies what type of people I want to surround myself with.
Yeah.
Just awesome dudes. So that we're going to have every bit of 5, 6, 7 guys there working the booth. And like I said, I want people to come over and talk to us. You don't have to buy a call. Come over, hang out, grab a cup of coffee or something, and we'll chat. So
yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Brent, if somebody wants to get a hold of you about some content, view your content, how do they do that?
It's right on Instagram or TikTok. It's just my name, Brent Bierman. Not Bierman, but it's Bierman.
And the same thing with you, Mike. If people want to go buy a call, get a hold of you to talk about calls, how do they do so?
So at the website, blacktimbercalls.com, and then we have a Facebook and an Instagram page. Those are my main sources of advertisement and social media.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on, and my plan as of right now is to get down there October 10th, so I'm excited to meet you guys.
There you go. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right, let me end it.